Hey guys, it's Eric and I'm back. Right in the midst of gun season. You guys are seeing this video here in Pennsylvania, 2-week rifle season. So I wanted to go over my 4 choices of ammunition for this season for the 4 deer rifles I have sighted for this year. There's a reason for that. I'm going to explain every situation. We're actually going to start from big to small. So I didn't end up doing any bear hunting this year for rifle season just because I wanted to spend some more time getting ready for the rifle season. But for deer, this is my choice for my 300 Winchester Short Mag, which is my bear gun. Hornady ELDX Precision Hunter, 200 grain ammunition. These pattern super well out of my 300 Short Mag. I'm shooting groups like this at 100 yards, keeping myself about an inch high, inch and a half high. Just a real nice tip there. The Short Mag is a fatter cartridge, just because of being a short mag, I'm assuming. But patterned very well to my gun. I haven't had the opportunity to kill anything with it yet. I could have killed deer with it, but I chose not to take it out because it does a lot of damage on deer, more than I prefer, to be honest with you. Now, if I'm in a situation where I'm hunting somewhere where I'm either only buck or only bear hunting, I would consider it in that situation. But outside of straight bear, that's probably what I'm going to keep these for. But 300 Short Mag's dialed in, great cartridge, like it a lot. So Hornady Precision Hunter, 200 grain, that's my first choice of my biggest cartridge. Now, next size down, which is the biggest cartridge I prefer to use for deer hunting, and this is the Federal Premium Trophy Bonded tips. Just got my 30-06 dialed in today with those. They group really well. I had been shooting Hornady SSTs, 165 grain, but I had a lot of trouble getting them to pattern well for whatever reason. I don't know why, but a little trophy tip there. Cool looking bullet, silver. Not that that matters for performance, but I was able to get these screwed really well. Rolled with about an inch high at 100 yards, just because this is 30-06 is going to be what I will use when I'm hunting in the woods situation, whether I'm sitting or if I'm doing some deer drives. This will be my choice. 30-06 gives you a lot of margin for error. If your shot's not perfect, so does this. But we're not hunting with that for deer this year, most likely. So, like I said, trophy bonded tips from Federal Premium pattern a lot better than the Hornady SSTs do. On my 30-06, not really sure if that's just my Berman 700, if that's the gun, or what the issue is, but I can't argue with what the target says. So, heard a lot of good things about these bullets. We're giving a shot this year. So that's my second gun, 30-06. Now, these next two are kind of going to be what I feel like bringing on, mostly if I'm going to be hunting my camp out of a hut, where I could shoot over 200 yards in the field. That's pretty much what I'm going to take these guns for. These guns are sighting for an inch and a half, 2 inches high at 100 yards. So I'm only about an inch and a half low at 200. And even with that, I'm still relatively on a 50. So let's start with the next smallest gun, which is the 308 Winchester. And out of my 308, which by the way, that 30-06, I already mentioned, 165 grain bullets is what I choose to shoot on my 30-06. Now for the 308, I prefer shooting 150 grains. I think that gives myself the best trajectory, and last buck was killed with it was with these bullets, so they work. These are Hornady SSTs. I said 150 grain. My hands want to work, right? And these pattern phenomenal out of my Tikka T3X 30-06. No issues patterning these. Still do a lot of honestly pretty comparable damage to 30-06 with a little bit less kick, but like I said, this will be one of my, I guess call them a hut gun, set up for a little longer range shooting with that higher at 100 yards. So Hornady SSTs 150 grain is what I'm shooting this year out of my 308. Now the last gun on my list this year is the 7M M08. Very similar ballistics to the 308. Kicks to leave it a little less than that. In my opinion, it's a really good gun for starting a kit out with. And I'm going with the, again, a Federal Premium, but the Barnes TSX And this is actually a copper bonded bullet, which this is my first time shooting copper, but the gentleman who runs my deer camp really likes these. Has had a lot of luck with these. A little bit of a hollow point there, if you can even see that. I don't know if you can or not, but 140 grain. I was shooting 150 grain Hornady Precision Hunter out of that 708, and I could not get the darn thing to pattern save my life. Now, for complete transparency, I've never shot the 139 grain SSTs out of it, so they might have patterned a little better than the 150s as well. But just with the recommendation, I went with these. I have a couple boxes as well. Have these patterned at 1.5 to 2 inches high at 100 yards for that longer range shooting and versatility. So that's what I'm rolling with this year. Pretty much a mixture of Hornady and Federal for my ammunition. I had been shooting off all Hornady for years, but I'm gonna try this with the 30-06 and the 708. Hopefully, we get some deer down with them, see what kind of damage they do, and if I like it, maybe I'll try it out on the 308. Although right now I'm not feeling the super huge need to, because that pattern's just fine. And 300 short mag, it's super hard to get ammo for that, so I'm just sticking with the Precision Hunters, the ELDX for that. Pattern's super good out of that. So those are the 4 cartridges of mine that I patterned for deer season this year. Tell me what you're hunting with for deer season this year. Do you shoot any of these loads yourself? And if you have any questions, feel free to drop them below. And thanks for watching the video.